everybody. It's Gretchen at the Hotchkiss Library in mid-October, and I don't know if you're aware of this, but October is probably the biggest month for book releases of the year. Getting ready for the holiday rush, still being considered for literary prizes for this year and awards. Very popular time. So a lot of the biggest named authors, their books are released in October. So we got a shipment the other day with 45 books, fiction, mystery, and nonfiction, and I have a big long list of fiction here for you today. Some of these are thrillers, sometimes the authors are also in mystery, but in our library these guys get, some of these people like David Baldacci, for some of his books, which are marked thrillers, are shelved with the novels in regular fiction. So I'll just tell you first off, another David Baldacci, Long Shadows, a Memory Man thriller. Don't need much description for you for David Baldacci. He's very popular, and I'm sure there are people ready to snatch this up as soon as it goes on the shelves later today. In a similar vein, we have Vince Flynn, Oath of Loyalty, another thriller, and this is in the Mitch Rapp series. So this is here waiting for you. We have an Ellen Hilderbrand installment in her summer series, although this is not a new novel. Those usually come out in her series in the summer. These are, I believe, 3 stories from Days That Last Forever, as she calls it, and they were stories about characters in her summer series that did not make it into the final books, but that are worthy to stand alone. So if you'd like to hang on to summer for a little longer, or feel a nice summer day as the days start to get shorter and cooler, this might be for you. She has a lot of fans as well. And much anticipated this month is The Night Ship by Jess Kidd, who wrote a book called Things in Jars a couple of years ago that was very popular. Jess Kidd has written other books, including himself, Mr. Flood's Last Resorts, and the aforementioned Things in Jars. She's quite popular as well, and there's already a request here for her book. And here's one I'm certainly looking forward to, the inimitable Barbara Kingsolver, who's written amazing fiction and really inspiring nonfiction. I love her nonfiction as well. Has a new book called Demon Copperhead. I wonder if you can guess by that title what classic English novel she might be riffing off of here. If you can't tell, the first initials are D and C. It's her take on David Copperfield set in modern day Appalachia. She lives in Virginia, is a great chronicler of life there, and I think this is going to be an amazing, amazing book. There's been a lot of talk about it, and I've already seen it show up on a few of the year's best lists, which are starting to appear in the trade journals. And it was picked by Oprah for her book club. Those of you who are fans of Wicked, which was written by Gregory Maguire and was the basis of the Broadway musical, we have the second volume in his series, Another Day, and this one is called The Oracle of Maricor. Those who like fantasy, fairy tale, supernatural things are going to be interested in this one. Gregory Maguire is very, very popular with people who enjoy those sorts of stories. And it's also time for Christmas books. We had a new Susan Mallory Christmas book that came in, and we also have Debbie Macomber, The Christmas Spirit. These are always in demand this time of year. And we have an Elizabeth McCracken novel. She's a great New England novelist. And her books, she's really a writer's writer. Her books always get tons of praise for their style. And this she subtitles a novel, but from what I've read about it, it's truly an autobiographical novel. And she's been interviewed a lot about why she chose to write this particular story as fiction and not nonfiction. And she really plays with the genre, addressing that within the text, that question. So it's a quick read, I think. It's pretty short, and she's a great, great writer. Her last book, which was one of her last books, which was really fun, was called, trying to remember the title, Bowl Away. That was a very popular one a few years back. We have the great literary novelist Lydia Millette, who's been a finalist for both the Pulitzer Prize and the National Book Award with her earlier work. And here she is presenting us with Dinosaurs, a novel. And this is, I believe, an environmental apocalyptic sort of story about the existential threat to our way of life. She won... she was a National Book Award finalist for her last novel, A Children's Bible, and that was also one of the New York Times 10 best that year. So people are always excited when Lydia Millette has a new book. And here's one I'm hoping to read very soon, but I'm going to let some of you get a chance first. This is the new Celeste Ng book, Our Missing Hearts, a Reese's Book Club pick. She is known for her book Little Fires Everywhere, as well as Everything I Never Told You. She has been a recipient of fellowship from the National Endowment of the Arts and the Guggenheim Foundation, and her work has been published in over 30 languages. Her books have also been made into really good TV miniseries. This one, she addresses issues of Asian Americans and racism in our society, I think more directly than she has in the others. It's been getting unanimous rave reviews. So Our Missing Hearts. So pick it up quick before I grab it. And here is the new novel by Orhan Pamuk, the winner of the Nobel Prize, the great Turkish writer. He's written books including Red and Snow. Very, very wonderful writer. And this one is called Nights of Plague. And it's part detective story, part historical epic, a bold and brilliant novel. Imagines a plague ravishing a fictional island in the Ottoman Empire in the very early days of the 20th century. So timely as well, but also historical. So I'm sure some people will be interested in that one. And we have a new Jodi Picoult novel, which she's co-written with the wonderful Jennifer Finney Boyle. And this is called Mad Honey, a soul-searching novel about what we choose to keep from our past and what we choose to leave behind. And Jodi Picoult, of course, is a #1 best-selling author with the New York Times, and she's written this together with her close friend and teacher and writer, Jennifer Finney Boyle. So I hope you'll enjoy that one. And the next one, gosh, in the last 4, I don't even know which one I would pick first. They're so great. I'm a huge George Saunders fan. I love his short stories. I love, 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 love Lincoln in the Bardo, one of my favorite books of all time. His only novel, which was actually written in the form of a screenplay. If you ever need a great audiobook for a long road trip, that's your audiobook right there. Lincoln in the Bardo. But he finally has a new collection called Liberation Day. I've seen that some of the critics are saying some of the stories aren't up to the quality of his earlier amazing stories, but most of them are in the collection. Many of these have been in the New Yorker. He's a wonderful, edgy writer, really interesting tone and style, and he just has an incredible, incredible imagination and sense of way of looking at the world. Here's another book that's on being held for another patron right now, On the Rooftop by Margaret Wilkerson Sexton. This is a novel of music, love, and the colliding dreams of mothers and daughters in gentrifying 1950s San Francisco. This has had a lot of buzz. It's been out for a couple of months, and I had a really hard time getting a copy because it was back ordered. So On the Rooftop is here for you. And many of you have met Dani Shapiro at our book signing over the years. She lives in Bethlehem, Connecticut, and is very well known for her memoirs about her life. She wrote an earlier novel, and this is her second novel, Signal Fires. I think it's based on something from her own life, but she did tackle that via fiction this time and not memoir. And it also is showing up on some of the year's best lists that I'm starting to see. So again, Dani Shapiro, Signal Fires. And last but not least, Which Side Are You On? A novel by Ryan Lee Wong. This is a novel by a Korean American born and raised in Los Angeles. And I know he's going to be appearing this Saturday in Millerton at the library in conjunction with Oblong. And it looks like a super interesting book. It's a debut novel. How can we live with integrity and pleasure in this world of police brutality and racism? An Asian American activist is challenged by his mother to face this question in this powerful and funny debut novel of generational change, a mother's secret, and an activist's coming of age. It's a debut novel, getting tons of advance praise. I was on a Library Journal panel thing. I was watching a webinar they had, and they talked about this book, and it sounds really, really wonderful. So anyway, that's a long video because we have a lot of books, and I hope if you're interested in thrillers, commercial fiction, literary fiction, international fiction, historical fiction, I hope that you come into the library and check something out.